So hey guys, today we have Hitesh and he's having 2.9 year of experience in Java, Spring Boot and microservices domain. So those who want to give same free mock interview, please fill out the form below in the description. So now let's get started. Hey, hello, hi Hitesh, how are you?
Hi Fazan, good, good. What about you?
Yes, I'm also good. Shall we start?
Sure, let's start.
Okay. So can you please introduce yourself and your recent project in brief?
So, as you already introduced, my name
Mm-hmm.
is Hitesh, and I am having around 3 years of experience
Mm-hmm.
in Spring Boot and Java domain,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been working on some invoicing and billing and payment related microservices, which
Mm-hmm.
handles the invoicing and payments
Mm-hmm.
in the form of transactions and couple of external integrations which
Mm-hmm.
we have. So, and we keep a track of those and then
Mm-hmm.
do end-to-end, facilitate the payment end-to-end.
Okay. Hitesh, have you used double equal and dot equals operators in your project?
And double equals so we use in a day-to-day basis.
Okay. So what's the
So
difference
dot
between
equals,
these
yeah,
double equal and dot equals?
yeah. So basically, double equals is a primitive comparison. So
Mm-hmm.
let's take an example of integer. So integers are primitive. Integer int. It is a
Mm-hmm.
primitive data type. It
Mm-hmm.
is stored in directly in the stack. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, it will directly if you use integer I1 equal to I2, so it
Mm-hmm.
will directly compare it from there. But
Mm-hmm.
the objects which are stored in heap and their reference is stored into stack. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, dot equals method is something which will help us to actually go to that particular location and compare
Mm-hmm.
that value.
Okay.
So in a and equals basically equals and hash code methods are there to
Mm.
compare different
Okay.
things.
Okay. So can you explain a scenario where double equal gives a true result and dot equals gives a false result?
Okay, so let's take an
Mm-hmm.
example of strings, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So strings have string pool.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they are stored in string pool.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take an example saying that, yeah. So I'll create a string S1.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new string, and
Mm-hmm.
I will basically what I'll do is I will assign a value to it. I will let's say new string 123.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and S2 new string 1 2
Mm-hmm.
3. Okay, now if I compare S1 and S2, S1 equal to S2, it will not give me the correct result because it will basically compare the references, which is
References.
not correct.
Mm-hmm. How would you handle a situation where you need to compare the content equality of two custom object instances?
So I can write a equals function
Mm-hmm.
uh, inside that particular class, which
Mm-hmm.
will handle the comparison part of logic into that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, okay.
let's. hmm.
Got it.
So hmm.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay. I thought you can.
Okay, okay. Got it. Okay, moving ahead. Do you know the concept of Java memory model?
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So, yeah, so
Uh-huh.
basically, Java memory model tells us how
Mm-hmm.
Java manages the memory
Mm-hmm.
across the processes and across these threads.
Mm-hmm.
So one process, as in when a process is created in Java, so basically it will give itself a heap memory,
Mm-hmm.
which is particularly given to a process, and it
Mm-hmm.
cannot be shared across the processes.
Mm-hmm.
And there will be a stack memory associated to it. And internally under that process, we can have multiple threads running.
Mm-hmm.
So threads are light-based processes. So
Mm-hmm.
under those threads, they
Mm-hmm.
basically share the common heap, which
Mm-hmm.
is provided to the process at the time of creation,
Mm-hmm.
and they basically have stack segments. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
stack memory is of their own, so they create their own stacks. So parallelly, they can run and then execute. So
Mm-hmm.
internally, if we go in deeper into that, we have a code segment, data segment, registers, and counters.
Register segment. Correct,
So
correct.
in code segment, basically it stores the bytecode of that particular Java class,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the logic
Mm-hmm.
is written. And in
Mm-hmm.
data segment, it basically stores static and global variables.
Mm-hmm.
And if we go so code and data segment,
Mm-hmm.
these are I think they are again shared
Mm-hmm.
across the thread. They will be shared,
Mm-hmm.
and there is a register and counter. So
Mm-hmm.
register and counter are basically not shared across the threads. They have their own register and counter. So
Mm-hmm.
let's say if a thread is running on a CPU at that point of time, so it basically maintains a counter at which point of code a particular uh, a particular code is running. So let's
Mm-hmm.
say now thread went to a wait state. So CPU will have to give the basically prioritize other things. So it cannot keep it steady in itself. So
Mm-hmm.
it will put it back. So counter will be pointing to that particular last execution point, and then again
Mm-hmm.
if it gets scheduled, it will start from there itself. So this is
Mm-hmm.
how
These
Java
things work.
maintains.
Nice,
This thing.
nice. So, can you tell me how does a Java memory model affect the visibility of changes made by one thread to another?
So let's say
Mm-hmm.
if you are changing a shared object. So
Mm-hmm.
shared object, I mean a object created in heap. So
Mm-hmm.
if multiple threads are making change to same object, so
Mm-hmm.
that particular object changes will be visible to all different threads.
Mm. Correct.
And if it is making changes to any local variables which are
Mm-hmm.
stored in their own stacks, then they will be basically isolated.
Mm-hmm.
So isolation principle will be followed.
Okay, okay. Okay. So, Hitesh, I would like to share one important thing with you. Actually, we had launched complete interview preparation material, structured step by myself, experts, and MNCs interviewers. And the best part is that now no one need to go anywhere else to prepare interviews. There's a 99% chance that the interviewers will ask question from this material. Okay. So basically, it contains 16 PDFs with all possible interview question and answers for Java, Spring Framework, Maven, Git, Spring Boot, Spring Security, Spring Data, JPA, Kafka, microservices, Java coding questions, Stream API coding questions, and many more. I have provided the link to get this in below description. And if someone needs this material, plus two real enterprise client project for reference, plus one-on-one lifetime doubt sessions and referrals to the big MNCs, then they should check interview preparation kit. I will provide the link for this kit as well in the description below. So now moving to our interview.
Okay.
Uh, Hitesh, can you please describe a multi-threaded case where improper handling of the Java memory model could cause issues?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's say we are having two threads,
Mm-hmm.
and there is a shared object
Mm-hmm.
across these two threads.
Mm-hmm.
So both of these are using, and one thread
Mm-hmm.
make a change on that particular object. As I said previously,
Mm-hmm.
so let's say let's take an example. Yeah. So if we want that particular shared object to
Mm-hmm.
be shared by a single thread at a time, so there
Mm-hmm.
is a flag on that object which
Mm-hmm.
is available flag. So one thread kept it basically it will update it as not available or is
Mm-hmm.
available as false.
Mm-hmm.
Now it will basically update that particular memory location.
Mm-hmm.
Now if a second thread is coming
Mm-hmm.
and it will see the object is updated at that point of
Mm-hmm.
time, and now it will see that particular object is not available to you as for now, so it cannot continue with the execution. uh,
Mm-hmm. Correct,
that
correct.
can be
So this
one of
way we can
mm,
see some error
see,
issues, right?
yes.
Okay. Okay. Moving ahead. What are the uses of final keyword?
So final keyword is basically if we are giving it to a variable, so
Mm-hmm.
basically that variable cannot be changed. That variable
Mm-hmm.
reference again, if that particular final, let's say I give a final and then object, and then I instantiate that object, then inside the content of that object can still be changed because
Mm-hmm.
the reference cannot be changed, but
Mm-hmm.
the memory location it is pointing to, that still can be changed.
Right.
So,
Okay.
and one of the, if you basically, if we start talking in terms of functions,
Mm-hmm.
so if there is a final function that cannot be overridden, so
Mm-hmm.
that basically if you define a final function in
And
interface,
what about
then it
final
cannot be
class?
overridden. So if it is a final class, so
Uh,
basically I think it is a singleton instance. Uh, if the class is final, so we
mm,
cannot create an object of that class, maybe.
we cannot extend.
Oh yeah, sorry, extend.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
basically cannot extend it.
Okay. So how would you refactor a code base to enforce immutability? I mean, how would you change your code base to make it immutability on an existing class by using final?
By using final.
Final is I think initial step, and along with finals, what all other things you would do?
Okay, okay. So we
Mm-hmm.
want to make it immutable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah. So basically, immutability means that if you are basically you cannot update a particular
Mm-hmm.
object if
Mm-hmm.
once it is created,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we want to implement the immutability, then what we can do is mm, we can
First, we should make a class as final,
yeah, basically
uh,
class will be a
and
final
all
and it will.
fields as final.
Yes. So that is basically the concept of single. No, no, no. All the fields will be final, and only the getter methods will be there. There will not be any setter methods
Yes, no setter
and
methods, and
no
all
setter
fields should
methods,
be
and
private.
all fields should be private so that no one else from external side they
Mm-hmm.
can access it,
Mm-hmm.
even though they create the object of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Correct.
that.
Okay, so moving ahead, can you explain how a hashmap works in Java?
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, Hashmap internally creates a basically it creates a linked list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what will happen? There is
Mm-hmm.
an initial capacity whenever
Mm-hmm.
we initialize a hash map, like
Mm-hmm.
map string new
Mm-hmm.
hash map. So basically, it will create a initial capacity of
Mm-hmm.
16,
Mm-hmm.
and internal inside that, what will
Mm-hmm.
happen? It will have a hash function.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever the key which we are giving to that particular hash map, whenever we are inserting an object to it, so
Mm-hmm.
it will perform that hash function on that particular key,
Mm-hmm.
and it will basically try to find at which particular location. So let's say I had 16 spaces initially. So it
Mm-hmm.
will try to check that hash function will give me one of the results under those 16. So
Mm-hmm.
it will see now I got the, let's say suppose I got one as a answer from the hash function.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll point to that location. Now I will see if there is any other objects are also there or not. If
Mm-hmm.
it is there, that is called collision in hash map.
Mm-hmm.
So in case of collision, what will happen? It will create a linked list. So basically, it will create one node, and initially it would have been single node at that point of
Mm-hmm.
time. Now
Mm-hmm.
after that node, it will add that particular node, whatever we
Mm-hmm.
are in trying to insert again. So again, there is a limit to that particular linked list. So that is called tree file limit. So that
Mm-hmm.
is generally 8. So if it is extending beyond that, it will try to
Mm-hmm.
create a red black tree to store these values.
So this
And
is a
there is a
new update after Java 8, right?
yes, yes, yes.
Using this red black tree.
There is a concept of load factor also. If the
Mm-hmm.
hash map is getting filled by 0.75, by default it is 0.75,
Yes, yes.
75% of hash map is filled. So we'll
Mm,
try to basically double the capacity of it.
correct, correct. Okay, so suppose you are storing user session data in a hash map. How would you ensure thread safety?
So I can use concurrent hash maps, maybe. So those are basically
Okay.
synchronized.
Mm, so concurrent hash map is a different. Yeah, this is one of the way. Concurrent hash map is one of the way. There is one more way, like in a collections, there is a method synchronized map. we can make our hash map synchronized by using this method. It's a default
Oh,
method of collections.
okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Okay.
I definitely need to go through
Yeah, yeah, it's fine. Okay. But yeah, concurrent hash map is also one of the way.
it.
Moving ahead, please explain exception handling in Java and what are checked and unchecked exception.
So basically, exception handling is
Mm-hmm.
to handle an unexpected scenario in our code base. So let's say
Mm-hmm.
if there is anything unexpected is happening in our
Mm-hmm.
particular execution flow,
Mm-hmm.
then if how we handle that particular situation is
Mm-hmm.
called exceptional handling. So
Mm-hmm.
now there are two type of exception handlings. One is checked and one is unchecked. So
Mm-hmm.
in checked basically we call it as compile time exception check as well,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
unchecked is called a runtime. So basically check will throw an error even. So basically it will mandate you to catch those exceptions
Mm-hmm.
at the compile time itself. And in the runtime exception, what will happen while doing the execution of the program, they
Mm-hmm.
may or may not occur. So this is all your responsibility to catch the runtime exceptions intelligently, and you as a developer you should be aware what type of exception
Mm-hmm.
or unchecked exception your code may throw, so that
Mm-hmm.
you avoid the unnecessary exceptions or unnecessary conditions happening in your code.
Okay. Okay. So how would you handle a scenario where a method throws multiple types of exceptions?
Yeah, so in that case, let's say if your method throws JSON processing exception, illegal argument exception. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, there is a pipe you can follow. So
Mm-hmm.
in a sequence, you can mention what all different type of exception you want to catch,
Mm-hmm.
and if there are two ways. So if in a single catch block you want to catch, so you can
Mm-hmm.
use pipe. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
catch differently, then you can use multiple catch blocks.
Mm.
So that way you can catch.
Okay, okay. All right. Okay, so moving ahead, what are the different types of dependency injection we have in the Spring framework?
So, dependency injection is basically
Mm-hmm.
to provide the necessary things
Mm-hmm.
to a
Mm-hmm.
bean
Mm-hmm.
as and when it is getting instantiated.
Mm-hmm.
So, dependency injection can be multiple types. One of them is field injection, one is
Mm-hmm.
setter injection, and one is
Mm-hmm.
constructor injection.
Mm.
So, in
Okay.
a field, we basically pass it as a field, and constructor, while we are making the object of it, we'll pass it. And the same way, setter,
Mm-hmm.
we can use a setter method.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Uh, mm, describe a situation where constructor injection is preferred over the setter injection.
Where constructor injection is preferred over
Preferred
a setter.
setter injection.
Okay, okay. So when you want to make sure your particular, whenever you are instantiating this bean, the other bean which you are create, basically you want to inject it to, is
Mhm.
readily available.
Okay, sorry. Come again. I didn't
I
get
am
you.
saying
Mm-hmm.
the dependency which I am injecting through
Mm-hmm.
constructor,
Mm-hmm.
that should be readily available. Like basically, we want to make sure that should be readily available before creating this particular bean, current bean.
Mm, yeah, this might be the answer. But
Uh,
I think it is preferred when dependencies are required for the object's functionality. Something like that. Uh,
okay.
yeah, yeah. And it basically ensures that the object is always in a valid state when created. Something like
Yes,
that.
yes, 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 yes. Correct, correct. That is also one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, it will have consistent values or
Mm-hmm.
whatever uh, consistent state
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
be more
Yes.
precise.
Mm. Okay, so do you know about spring bean life cycle?
Yeah. So in bean life cycle, there are three steps. One
Mm-hmm.
is the initialization. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, in that particular part, the bean
Mm-hmm.
will get initialized,
Mm-hmm.
and in second part, it's a dependency injection. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever dependencies which are required by this bean, we'll inject it. So all
Mm,
these steps are again controlled by Spring IOC, Spring
mm,
in IOC container. And the third step is bean instantiation,
mm,
where bean will get instantiated, and then and at the end it is the destruction of that bean. So
mm.
sorry, four step. I said three step.
No, yeah, it's fine. So how can you modify the bean life cycle using hooks?
Actually, I am not aware of hooks. I have
Okay,
never
okay.
used them.
Have you heard about post construct pre-destroy on
Yeah,
applications?
yeah. Those
Okay.
basically they use internally aspect AOP to
Mm,
basically intercept the bean life cycle. So post constructed is basically after the bean is constructed, that particular
mm,
it's kind of a yeah, as you said, it is a hook.
mm,
So yeah, it can basically do some modification on top of this bean or
mm.
do some manipulation on top of it. So
Yeah,
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 I have used them. I don't know the term.
yeah, it's fine, fine. So how would you ensure that a certain bean is loaded last in the application context?
Okay, okay. Mm, what I can do?
Uh,
That can be.
can we have you heard about depends on annotation?
Yes, yes, yes. I have. Yeah.
So I think we
In.
can use this annotation
Mhm, mhm,
by
mhm.
ensuring, I mean, making,
Conditional on property, we can use on the
yeah,
class
condition is
level,
also
and
fine.
then.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
correct. Uh, what are Spring profiles?
Yeah. So basically, Spring Profile ensures us to
Mm-hmm,
have different. Let's say if you want to different multiple, if you want to manage multiple
mm-hmm,
profiles in your code base. So let's say
mm-hmm,
one is dev environment, QA environment, or UAT and production, like
mm-hmm,
so on. So there is a Spring.active.profile.
mm-hmm,
Basically, you can provide it under YML, and you can manage different profiles under
mm-hmm,
the particular application in that way.
mm-hmm. Okay, okay. What would happen if two profiles are active simultaneously with conflicting configurations?
So basically, whatever profile is getting loaded afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
it will take those particular values.
Okay,
So
okay.
in yeah,
Got it.
even though they
Mhm.
yeah, even though they are conflicting, it will take the
Mhm.
last one.
Okay, okay, nice. So moving ahead, can you please explain the role of transactional annotation?
Yeah, so transactional annotation in Spring is basically used to manage a transaction
Mm,
under the particular boundaries of that particular method or class level. If you are putting to all the methods of that class will be transactional, and if you
mm.
are providing it on method level, then under that
Method will
method,
be.
whatever, uh, uh,
Okay, so what
operation.
issues might arise if transactional is used at both class and method level simultaneously?
Uh, there can be a use case where you basically if you define it at class level and
Mm-hmm.
method level both the times, then
Mm-hmm.
I think it I am not sure if it will create two transactions, or let's say you want to manage basically one method you do not want it to be transactional, but the other one yeah, there can be one thing. So
Mm-hmm.
let's say you have kept up public, basically transactional can be applied on public
Mm-hmm.
only. So there is a
Mm-hmm.
public method, you have applied transactional on top of it,
Mm-hmm.
and there is again a public method which you are using under that particular transactional method,
Mm-hmm.
and there is one more on class level also we have defined transactional.
Mm-hmm.
So it will try to create a transaction on
Mm-hmm.
that method as well, when
Mm-hmm.
even though when you are using under that previous method.
Mm-hmm.
So there are two transactions simultaneously.
Okay, okay, got it. So how would you handle a scenario where a transaction needs to be rolled back due to an operation on a remote service failing, something like that?
So if a remote service is failing, so I
Mm-hmm.
can use a basically a event mechanism. So if a remote service is failing, they can send me an event. I will
Mm-hmm.
consume that event and then roll it back
Mm-hmm.
from my end itself. So that is
Okay,
one
okay,
of the
got
way.
it.
I can use callbacks or I can provide them
Mm-hmm.
endpoints or maybe that can be another way.
Mm, got it. How does Spring Boot handle event-driven programming?
So it basically uh, event-driven programming. How does it
Mm-hmm.
handle? So
Mm-hmm.
it can be a producer consumer based approach where
Mm-hmm.
we can produce the events, whatever the operation you want to perform, and then
Mm-hmm.
consume it back wherever you want to perform in that
Mm-hmm.
way. And yeah,
Mm, kind
Saga.
of.
Hmm.
Okay. Moving ahead. Mm, how would you implement a notification system where an event in one part of the application needs to update users in real time?
Okay, a notification. Okay, so you want to update them in almost real time,
Mm,
right?
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So what we can do is I will wherever is my execution happening, and at
Mm-hmm.
that point of wherever the point I feel that I should be sending them a notification, I'll put a message to a Kafka consumer. It will consume the message, and then I will have a topic under that Kafka, and then I will basically. Do you want to have any pre-checks on this message or
No, no, no.
nothing, right?
Mm,
So the basically wherever I want to update, so
mm-hmm.
that particular part can be handled by the consumer of that particular topic, and then I
Mm.
can basically perform the operations whatever I want to perform.
So, are you using any messaging system or?
Yeah, we use Azure Service Bus and Kafka.
Okay, okay,
Hmm.
okay, got it. Moving ahead. Uh, okay, so how Spring Boot simplifies the deployment of a web application?
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so basically, in the deployment, as I know, so there's a
Mm-hmm.
life cycle which is
Mm-hmm.
followed.
Mm-hmm.
If we can take an example of Maven,
Mm-hmm.
so it will follow certain steps
Mm-hmm.
to till the deployment. So there is a verification step, there is a
Mm-hmm.
build compile step, there's a build step,
Mm-hmm.
install step,
Mm-hmm.
and then the deployment step, and then
Mm-hmm.
like that. So there is a execution step which is followed to ensure the end-to-end deployment.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hmm.
Have you heard about convention over configuration in Spring Boot?
Yes, yes, yes.
So what is this?
So basically, convention over configuration is like you use it whenever you want to use it, and configuration is like you configure it, then only you will use it.
Okay.
So
Give me an example.
let's say mm, you are creating a class
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and mm, you want to use a object of that class, and then in the
Mm-hmm.
constructor you have to mandatorily pass couple of
Mm-hmm.
attributes to it to set the initial state of it. Then it's like the configuration
Mm-hmm.
over the convention, and then if you directly inject it and
Mm-hmm.
basically use the auto wiring kind of thing, and it will
Mm-hmm.
automatically auto wire it, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like uh, convention over the configuration. You don't have to configure.
Okay, okay, got it. So
Hmm.
how have you done data migration?
Uh, Data
Database
migration is
migration, sorry, database to be precise, database migration.
no, not exactly.
Okay, okay, it's fine. Uh, have you worked with actuators?
I have integrated actuator in
Mm-hmm.
our current services.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So basically, it provides you different endpoints
Mm-hmm.
to check the current state of the particular server. So health is one of the endpoint. Info is
Mm-hmm.
the which will give you the build which is deployed at that point of time.
Okay, okay. Got it. How does Spring Data JPA optimize repository performance?
So, in Spring Data JPA,
Mm-hmm.
what we do is we do not write actual queries. We
Mm-hmm.
write methods provided by JPA.
Mm-hmm.
So, we basically call those methods, and
Mm-hmm.
JPA internally tries to construct a query by those particular methods. So, it construct the query in a way that it is the in a most optimized manner,
Mm-hmm.
and then execute it at the database level. So yeah,
Okay, okay. Got it. How would you handle custom query methods that are not provided by Spring Data?
so you can use at the rate query method, at the rate query annotation, and under that you can provide the query which you want to
Mm-hmm.
perform, which is not there in JPA. And there is one more method of
So have you
native
written any
queries.
query recently? Custom
Yeah.
query. Can you please tell me that query, whatever you know, or you are
I
able to remember?
I need
Oh,
to
it's fine.
recall it actually.
Yeah, yeah, it's fine.
Don't. Hmm.
Mm, go ahead. Let's go ahead. Have you heard about Spring Batch?
I have heard but not actually used it in my
It's fine.
project. That is used for batch processing or maybe. Hmm.
Correct, correct. Okay, and do you know about Spring Boot default caching mechanism?
It uses the JVM cache that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, s-
So what cache you are using?
uh,
What
actually,
cache?
uh, actually, we do not
Okay, you
handle
do not.
that caching part of it, because we have a
Mm-hmm.
common module which handles
Mm-hmm.
the caching part of us. So basically, we use Redis, as I know,
Redis cache.
to
Okay.
Redis cache to
Mm.
and
Okay, okay. Have you written cron jobs?
yeah.
What's the work of cron jobs?
So basically, work of cron job is to execute a particular set of methods, or
Mm-hmm.
let's say an endpoint or whatever, at a defined user defined time intervals.
Mm-hmm.
So you can it is basically used to create schedulers in your system. So you
Mm-hmm.
want to schedule a task, you can use the cron jobs to schedule it.
Okay, okay. Got it. So will you be able to write Stream API coding question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, can you please share your screen? Uh,
Okay,
yeah,
I'll try to share my screen.
through Java 8 Stream API. So the question is, you are given a, list
Okay.
of strings,
Okay.
okay, and you have to modify that list in such
Hmm.
way that every string, I mean, you have to make every string a capitalized one. Means first letter is the caps, other are small in
Okay, so
small cases.
basically I have a list of
Mm-hmm.
string, right?
Mm-hmm. Let's say a list contain Bob, uh,
Okay,
apple, mango, all are small cases.
okay.
Mm.
So let's start.
You have to capitalize the list. Means make each string capitalize. One means first letter is capital and other smaller
Okay,
ones.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay, okay. What I will do is I'll create a main method here
Mm-hmm.
instead of this. Let's say Bob. Let's start and brand.
I mean
Okay,
from
so basically you want it to in the camel case, is it? like B
Yeah,
or
yeah,
B.
camel case.
Okay, I got the question in a wrong way then. I thought
Okay.
I just need to basically I need to capitalize Bob, and then other things will be same as is.
No, 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 no. In
Oh,
each,
then
yeah,
in
yeah.
that case, yeah, yeah. In that case, I can, yeah, that I can do. So basically, I will take 0 to 1 and plus L dot substring 1 to the L dot size, basically length
Just write one, I think
minus.
one only. Pass one.
Hmm.
Don't need to pass the end argument.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That should work.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm,
Sure.
yes.